Hey, what are you looking at? All right. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Been a while since I made a video about anything at all, but here we are again. So today we get to talk about Granblue because, well, Vikala is about to come out. She's the brand new Zodiac character that they are going to release for Granblue vs Rising. So it's an interesting time, in my opinion, to talk a little bit about, you know, everything that has happened ever since the Versusia patch 1.50, which has been really impactful on the game, to say the least. So there's a lot to say about it, and you know, obviously I'm pretty excited for Vikala to come out. I'm always excited whenever there's a new character, to be honest, even though sometimes they end up being, you know, the next character I really hate. But that's fine. I mean, that's kind of how it is. Plus this patch, I mean, the patch 1.50 has made it so I pretty much hate fighting every character in the game right now. And probably everybody hates fighting Beelzebub more than ever nowadays. So it's only fair. It's only fair. Anyways, let's start talking about patch 1.50 because it was really, it's a really big patch, right? It was a really big patch, long awaited. I think a lot of people, especially, you know, when you think about everything that was said from the very start whenever this game released, yeah, I think this patch was very much needed, and it did great. It did a great job at changing a lot of things, in my opinion. I think this is a very good patch, and I think my original expectation for it was not very high. Like I was a little bit worried about the changes that they were making, and honestly, for some of them, rightfully so. Some of the changes, not so much, but I think overall the direction is better, different from what I wish it was, but better, and also pretty good. But yeah, there was a lot of changes when it comes to things like system mechanics. I would say the changes to system mechanics are pretty alright, in my opinion, when it comes to the, you know, when you look at it overall and you look at it as a whole. But the changes when it comes to character is like, the changes are way better when it comes to characters, in my opinion. I think there are some characters that are over buffed and some of them are like over nerfed, in my opinion, right? So like, say, I think Catalina is a super giga buffed character, like way too buffed in my opinion. I feel like she's like crazy. I cannot understand why they made that character that way. I mean, did she need buffs? Yes, but did she need that much in terms of buffs compared to most of the characters in the game back then? Not really. Like a lot of characters, you know, a lot of people, the way they talked about the characters that they played before, or the characters in general, I really disliked the discussion like before patch 1.50, because a lot of people were having this like almost desperate cry out for any kind of buff at any cost for any character. It's as if every single character was like bottom one character, basically. Like you heard people talk about Catalina. She was apparently the worst character in the game. Narmaya, worst character in the game. Kageyoshi, worst character in the game. 2B, Lucilius. There were so many like apparently so many contenders for bottom one characters apparently. So to me, when I see all these buffs that they made for Catalina, for Lucilius, it's like, yeah, it's a little bit much. You know, so in some cases it's just extreme, but it's kind of okay. At least I would say that I rather deal with the current version of Catalina. I would rather fight her 50 times than fighting like a Siegfried, like a pre-patch Siegfried, a pre-patch Nier, a pre-patch Theox. To me, those are the things that I would be like, okay, yeah, I'd rather deal with that. In that sense, at least, I would say the game is better, right? but it's still kind of stupid, the type of buffs that they gave to some characters. So I'm sure some people will disagree with that, because people out here are really fighting for their mates. They want to give anything at any cost. Fuck the health of the game. I want my character to be the best character, and I feel like that's kind of an unhealthy way to talk about characters in general. But whatever, I'm not too invested in like balanced talks, because I'm not a pro player. So anyways, the patch 1.50 was great. It did a lot of good things, especially to my main Beelzebub. We love those. But even then, I would say I don't know why they gave Beelzebub a cross up. I don't know why they did that. It's not something that was on my list for buffs personally, but they did it, and I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with that one, regardless. But anyways, this patch was definitely, patch 1.50 was definitely great. I think lots of cool stuff have happened, and I want to talk a little bit about Versusia as well, and about a couple of things when it comes to how I feel about the game in general. So Versusia, I would say she's a really interesting character. I think they made a really good job at designing her overall. Definitely a very unique kit, which is pretty odd, because I think in this game most characters are very, you know, homogenized. It is, I mean, this statement about Granblue in general has been slightly more different with Rising than it was with like vanilla Granblue versus. So Versusia is like a big twist when it comes to character design in the story, in the history of this game, which is really awesome, right? I think it brings something new to the table in a way that most characters have not done that, right? So I'm happy with the character overall. I think she's fun to fight. Kind of sometimes she's kind of toxic, not gonna lie. I feel like she's one of those characters that if she has a good matchup, she has a really good one, but right now she's still a bit new, right? So for me, at least personally, she's still a little bit of a mystery character, so when I fight her I'm a little bit clueless sometimes. It can be pretty tough, but you know, we'll adjust eventually in the future. But she's awesome. I think the character is pretty sick. But I've also noticed something when it comes to Versusia, right? So she's somewhat classified by not really anybody, but in general her kit feels very zoning like, but it's not, she's not quite a zoner, to be honest. And this is something that has been concerning for Granblue versus as a whole. Well, I don't think it's just Granblue that's like that. I think a lot of fighting games in general have issues with some of the archetypes, and it shows quite a bit. So zoners, right, like Versusia, the character I feel like is really solid for a zoner, because when you think about zoners, right, think about Fairy. She's pretty much one of the worst character in this patch. I don't think she's necessarily super weak, because then again the patch did a great job at balancing the game overall, but she is definitely, actually, you know what, I feel like Fairy is much better than Metera. I feel like Metera might be the worst character. People say it's Fairy. I don't agree that's Fairy. That Fairy is the worst character. I think it's actually Metera. Personally, speaking of character archetypes, right? Grapplers. I feel like La Diva is a little bit of a weird one, right? I don't know how to feel about the character in this patch. Definitely a lot of her tools have gotten significantly more toxic, but at the same time I feel like her neutral got way worse. Especially when I fight her, she seems to be a lot more awkward in general. Like a lot more awkward. It seems even harder for her to get like a hit. I mean, when she does, she wins, but when she doesn't, she just loses perfect. She doesn't hit you once, basically, which is really weird. So I don't know. In that sense, I feel like the character kind of struggles a little bit. And again, I just hope that eventually, you know, the world of Granblue is huge. There's a lot of characters. There's a certain character called Mugen. He looks really cool. He looks like he could be a grappler. They might not make him a grappler. So I just hope that they at least find a good way to design some of these archetypes, a viable way to design them without making them broken, that is fun to play and unique, right? That's my hope for a lot of these things. That's why I'm talking about them. It's not because I want to doom about them necessarily, but I just hope that for the future releases of the game, they manage to find a proper way to design this character that is very solid. All right, enough talking about this nonsense. There are things that I do want to talk about when it comes to things that still needs to be improved when it comes to this game. So lots of different things, right? I think overall, like I said, when it comes to the fighting game part, a lot of things have been done well. There's still little things to change, like BC, of course. In my opinion, I don't think they will change anything else other than BC. But I do hope and I wish and I hope that it could change at least Dashlight one more time, and either change the range of it, which I don't think they will, but I hope that they could even also do something like, and I know it's controversial to say, I hope they could just remove the combo of Dashlight. Like I hope you could never do Dashlight into something else, personally. That's just my feels, but I still think that if they keep it the way it is at the moment, it's fine. I just hope it wasn't the way it was too, but whatever. I mean, Dashlight is not necessarily a problem. I just find it annoying, and I say that as somebody who uses Dashlight every time. I full screen, I'm going to run at you with Dashlight. I will, which is funny, but you know, I just think the mechanic is really obnoxious. Anyways, if they don't, it's fine. But yeah, overall, things like that is okay. But if there are other things that I do wish they could change when it comes to the fighting game part, at least it would be at least one more character. One more character needs to get a rework, right? And to me, that's Siegfried. They did a great job with Nier in the 1.50 patch. They have to do the same for Siegfried. I'm sick of looking at this character. I'm tired of it. It's not that he's broken now. That's not what it is about, and that's not what it's ever been about when it comes to Siegfried, in my opinion. I've never cared about this character being busted or whatever. Same for Nier. The problem with characters that are broken in this game, it always comes from bad design. It literally comes from bad design. End of story, right? Siegfried, in my opinion, is poorly designed. He doesn't need necessarily to be balanced. He needs to be reworked. Now, I want to hope that they are going to do it for Siegfried too. I want to hope that they're going to change or repurpose a lot of his tools so that he has like different things than what he has right now. But it's going to take some time, similar to how reworking Nier took a long time. Basically, it took like almost a year to rework her. So I'm expecting that they are maybe planning something similar for Siegfried, and maybe for the current patch they try to at least stabilize the character, right? Which is fine, but I do hope that eventually they change him, because it's just so lame. I think it's probably the most boring character in the game. Like, I'd rather look at Gran 100%, especially with the new changes that Gran got, right? I rather look at that. Like, his the new Gran 5U is so cool, in my opinion. Anyways, those are the things when it comes to the fighting game part that I want them to change at least, right? So BC, Dashlight, Siegfried, that's it. And if I had like a little bit of, you know, wishful thought for something that will never happen, ever happen, do you know what it is? I wish that this game, no, I don't wish it, I just miss it. I miss universal overhead. I don't think it will ever come back, especially not for this game, because this game is designed in a certain way. But I miss it. I miss it so much. I miss universal overhead so much. That's it for the fighting game part. Now let's talk about the other part, right? The overall experience and stuff like that. So for this part, I want to refer to one thing, right? So I got a comment a couple months ago on one of my videos. I don't remember which one, but the comment basically was someone complaining about not being able to obtain the prismatic weapons because they couldn't level up the characters outside of playing online. and that is a huge issue. You cannot level up your character in this game unless you play online. You do get a little bit of experience from playing the arcade mode, but it's really small. It's a really small amount of XP. I hope that they could increase that amount of XP, but I don't think that would fix the problem necessarily. Obviously, the single player content of this game is not as in-depth as vanilla, which is fine to me, hence why the game is only $50 as well. I'm fine with that, but things could be better without like too much effort, in my opinion, right? I say that as somebody who's very clueless about video game development, but I'm assuming it wouldn't be like too crazy to ask for some of these things. So for example, they could increase the XP that you get from arcade mode. They could allow you to level up a character by using rupees. For example, you could use 10 rupees per level, right? So 500 levels, you get a prismatic weapon for say 5,000 rupees. Why not? On top of that, because you level up a character, whenever you do it, you obtain rupees. They have like rupee rewards in their levels in general. So you could actually get a full character and get your prismatic weapon, but you've only spent like 3,000 rupees realistically. So that would be a good option in my opinion. That's just how I feel, but I think that would be a good idea. Another thing, they could make it so something like Granblue always gives you a daily reward of rupees. It doesn't have to be attached to a challenge that is weekly or that appears like for a random day or something. It can just be a general fixed reward, like rupee reward. It could be like another 200 rupees or another 150 rupees or something like that. Because once again, I still think the amount of rupees you get in this game is way too low for it to be valuable. It's too difficult. Like I buy battle passes, I cannot even get to 20,000 rupees. I've bought so many battle passes. It's ridiculous in my opinion that it's so hard to get any amount of rupees, right? So then again, they want to sell the skins, they want to sell all that stuff, but I think it's kind of rough. On top of that, buying the battle pass, like I said, when it comes to rupees, they could increase the amount of rupees you get for the premium battle pass. Why not encourage people to buy more of the battle passes? In my opinion, that would make way more sense. And especially if somebody wants to focus more on buying the battle passes, then they can have the option to like lessen the cost of the, say, season passes, right? We're about to be in season 2. You know, you don't have to buy the whole season. You can buy one character, but you have enough rupees to buy the rest of the characters, maybe, because you just bought so many battle passes. I think that would be also nice, but that's fine if they don't want to do all this stuff. Personally, I don't think that would be a problem. Outside of that, you also have other problems when it comes to the overall experience of the game, when it comes to the online, because in casual matches you have the bots or the AFKers, and also these are a little bit of a problem. It would be really nice if they could find a way to kick those guys out for good. I mean, we do have the option to block them, but speaking of blocking, something that would be nice too is that at the end of a match, it would be great for them to add the option block just right there. You know, you don't have to go out to the list to see recently played and then search the names, because you know you have a lot of people who do all kinds of things, and sometimes maybe you're in the lobby, you're on your green machine, your green cab, you don't necessarily want to leave the lobby, go back to the menu and do all that stuff. You just want to block the person right away, you know, so that you never find them again. You just want to hang out in the lobbies. That would be also a great thing to do. So little things like that can really improve the quality of life of the game. Granblue, I'm still vouching for bots. Please add bots to the game. After waiting for a minute and a half in the queue, the game just sends you into a Granblue match, or a Granblue's match with whoever was in that queue, and then it just fills the game out with bots. 20 to 25 people, bots, all of them. Please, if possible. So yeah, lots of little things like that can really improve the game. Lots of quality of life that we can have, but still we don't have it. At least I would say the good thing is that they, you know, they stabilize the like the part of playing the game, which is really nice. I hope they make like a mega patch, just like patch 1.50. I hope like maybe patch 1.70 becomes like, or patch 2.0 assuming that that's when we get like season 2, I guess. But that patch, whenever they release send-off form, I hope it's just like quality of life everywhere. Please make it so we can have some of these things, and please also announce some of these things, because I don't think it's too nice to be left in the dark like this when it comes to some of these aspects of the game. Sure, it was really nice that they improved the gameplay overall, but the experience also needs to have some love, and we need to know if it's ever getting touched, or at least if the devs are looking into it. So these are the things I just wanted to talk about. Yapped for 37 minutes here, so I'm getting tired. I haven't slept at all, so I'm about to go to bed. So thank you all so much for watching. Sorry if I yapped for 50 years, but you know, it is what it is. So just wanted to mention a couple things, talk about the patch, talk about how I felt about most of these things. So yeah, let me know how you feel about patch 1.50 in the comment section below before the end, and before we get into the Vikala patch, which most likely is not going to be great or it's not going to be big, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.